Like Josh Bell joining us live in studio for another weekend of fun, talking about some exciting movie events happening throughout the week ahead. Let's start with this new documentary. I love a good new documentary that's going to teach you something. You're going to learn something about something that you probably don't know about. It's this Mexican family that is operating a privately owned ambulance, right?
Yeah, it's a fascinating film. It's called Midnight Family. It's playing through this week at the Galaxy Boulevard, and this is a kind of film that we don't always get in theaters here in Vegas, so I'm glad that Galaxy, for whatever reason, decided to bring it to town. And it's a fascinating film it makes you grateful even for our messed up healthcare system here in the US, because this family in Mexico City, there are barely any ambulances run by the government. And so it's sort of this free-for-all of these private ambulance services that are all literally racing each other. There's like an ambulance car chase in this movie because they race to get to the scenes of accidents and shootings and things like that so that they can be the ones to pick up somebody and take them to the hospital and then not extort them, but definitely press them for money. And it's a fascinating thing because your sympathies are with this family that's barely making a living, and yet they have to constantly be sort of pressing at these people who are, in some cases, grieving or horribly injured to pay them just so that they can afford to themselves eat. And it's a portrait of a horrible system, but it's a fascinating film, and it's really cinematic. It's done really like on the ground right there with this family, and I watched it at home, but it's I think a great film to see in a theater because it does have that cinematic quality that a lot of documentaries don't have.
I was going to say, just catching that out of the corner of my eye, the ambulance is racing. Yes. That does illuminate the issue that they're trying to, which it seems effective in what it's trying to do.
It's very effective, and it does it without like lecturing you or anything. It just puts you with these people and gives you a real understanding of what's going on there.
I love that. Let's move on to being able to see some of these Best Picture nominations, even if they were already out of the theaters. Now they're back in, you can catch them.
Yeah, the Oscars are coming up in a couple weeks, so Regal Cinemas and AMC both are doing these Best Picture showcases. You can see not all, as we were just discussing off the air, 7 of the 9 movies that are nominated for Best Picture. The 2 Netflix films, The Irishman and Marriage Story. Netflix and movie theaters don't get along, so those aren't playing, but a bunch of great movies, including 1917, Ford vs. Ferrari, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite, all showing at Regal at Green Valley Ranch in Red Rock and AMC Town Square for a good price of $25 or $35, and at AMC you get some free popcorn with it too.
I was going to say, if you don't mention the free popcorn, then I don't know.
And some sort of souvenir tin, I don't know exactly what it is, but if you go to Town Square, there's free popcorn involved.
Hopefully maybe it's a little Oscar statue.
Something like that. That would be cool to put popcorn in.
That would be very cool. Something to save in the home.
Yes.
Let's move on to a classic, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. An opportunity to see it presented by some of our locals.
Yeah, the Frankie's Favorite Obsession Troupe. I mentioned this. They do this once a month, and we mentioned it a lot, but it's always good to remind people about the experience of Rocky Horror. There's a whole shadowcast performance, and audience participation is really one of the great cinematic experiences to have that full Rocky Horror experience. They're also doing a couples costume contest because Valentine's Day is coming up. That's on February 1st at the Tropicana Cinemas, and as it is every month.
Josh, what do you dress up as? What's a good couples
I dress
outfit
up
for Rocky
as
Horror?
guy attending movie because I like to watch it, but I am not the participatory type.
It does sound like a fun date night, though.
It can be. And I think for people who are big fans, there's definitely the main couple, the Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon characters, or maybe you can both go as Frank and Furter.
Oh, that's an idea.
You know, because it's a whole gender fluid kind of thing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And a good opportunity there. Moving on finally to Meet Me in St. Louis, another classic, one that I've never seen, but I really need to see it, Judy Garland.
It is an amazing musical from 1944, one of Judy Garland's best performances, and is just this enveloping story about a year in the life of a family. It's got so much great music, including the original Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That's where that song came from. And if you want to get the sense of why is Judy Garland amazing, watch Meet Me in St. Louis because it's so fantastic. That's part of Galaxy's Flashback Cinema on February 2nd and 5th, including Super Bowl Sunday.
Lovely. If that's the one to see it, see it. Judy Garland, what an amazing woman. Josh Bell, what an amazing man you are. Thank you so much for coming in, as always.
Thanks for having me.
All right, more news.